Cowboy OTAs yesterday. Bobby, you can take on the field. I will handle Brian Schottenheimer. Shoddy, the number one audio clip that I loved was him talking about Jaden Blue, candid exit interview. Jaden did not like being inactive. He was told why. He has come back with a great work ethic, said he's football brilliant, intelligence is off the charts, and it's night and day from last year. Joe Milton, what's the biggest difference from him last year to this year? Understanding of protections. Kobe Durant, communication is elite. Thrilled with where the pass defense is right now with flexibility, versatility, and disguise. He wants P.J. Locke. Schottenheimer's been taking about 10 players out per week to a dinner, and P.J. Locke apparently blew him away in terms of talking to the rookies about his experience. And Schottenheimer called one of his colleagues within the building and said, you need to get PJ to talk to everyone, not just these couple of rookies. Tyron Smith has been helping out, and Schottenheimer went back and forth between the words hope and expect George Pickens to show up for the next phase, but George has not communicated what's going to happen to Shoddy.
Yeah, or he doesn't want to tell us what has been communicated. He does like to conceal things. That was what he was first given. He was given hell for that yesterday. The Clarence question, technically I cheated when I said it was the third question, because it was just a broad question general about all those guys you left off last week. What the hell's up with that?
Jalen Thompson, minor pec injury. Jonathan Mingo, minor groin strain. CD not practicing for personal reasons.
Yep, and so no CeeDee Lamb yesterday, no George Pickens, obviously. That meant your first-team wide receivers were Ryan Flanoy, Cavante Turpin, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, which if you had to go into a football game with that, you are losing that football game, and I don't care who they're playing. They could be playing, UNT, Chop, and they would probably lose that
I don't know if they would even win that game.
Dak yesterday, these are from Nick Harris, notes from Nick Harris over at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Dak Prescott went 11 for 16 in the 7-on-7, which people love the stats in the 7-on-7, especially the Philly reporters who want to tell you that Jalen Hurts didn't have any picks during their offseason work. But Malachi Lawrence had a sack on Tyler Guyton. That's obviously the more we watch some of their reps that the offensive line are taking, left tackle is going to be a big part of that. Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary, who are supposed to work in tandem together, and they're supposed to be a coupling that everybody has had, playing well together. They both had a good play together where it may have been a sack. It's just tough to tell with the way they do things. But you mentioned Jaden Blue there. Took a handoff inside that opened up briefly, but it was quickly met by Caleb Downs in the hole. Said if they would have been in full contact, it would have been a loud thud, and Downs also got work as the personal protector on the punt team.
And speaking of Downs, Dak was asked initial impressions of this rookie class.
Yeah, very, very mature rookie class. I don't know if it's a part of, just the age, right? Just being blunt, the guys are coming in much older than they were in the past or having they were in the past and have a lot more experience. And so, you feel that. You can feel they're not the young 19-year-olds or whatever it is, or just trying to learn. They're coming in, they understand that there's a way here. These guys have been managing money. They've been doing a lot of the pro things now for a couple of years. So I credit them. They've come in with the right mindset, with the idea to listen, to earn my respect, but at the same time, I've got to go and put stuff on the field to make sure that I can impact and help this team. And every one of them. Credit Caleb and Malachi obviously being the first rounders. The first rounders usually kind of, called the leaders of that group. But I can tell you there's a lot of gems in that group, whether it just be talent or whether it be personality and men. And they're going to help this team.
I hadn't thought of that angle of it before. I know we've all talked about NIL and the impact that this era has in terms of potentially giving players money too early, and do they get a little too wild with it? Do they get a little too loose and crazy, and does it lead to entitled players? But that's another aspect of it too.
Sounds like something Nick Saban would say.
Is that it can be on the flip side of it, of where it also has given other guys experience doing it. I just don't acknowledge anything relating to Nick Saban anymore. It gives guys experience doing it, so it does also reveal professionalism. And that was the thing we heard. Both the first-round picks this year, when they got picked on their conference call, one of the first things they talked about was how Texas had no state income tax. Malachi Lawrence and Caleb Downs were both aware of that. And that may be something that guys, like the more experience they have, the more times that they've got to deal with their own money and things like that, they start becoming aware and a little bit ready to be pros because of that.
The money stuff, it is sad. I see when guys get their first, and I get it. You've been living without things for your entire life. You finally get some money, you want to spend it. But I do find it sad when somebody gets like a big signing bonus as a rookie and they spend 80% of it in the first weekend.
Have you seen how Dak Prescott has been injected into the NBA Finals?
How's he been injected into the NBA Finals?
You aware?
Trying to draw a correlation.
Oh! I think I know because they were doing it during the. Are you talking about the Spurs before the game?
Yep.
Yeah, they've been doing the little.
The hip thing.
Yeah,
Spurs pregame hip thrust. Is Dak aware?
Yeah, I've definitely seen it. Definitely pulling for him. Obviously, not only because of that, but because of Texas as well.
No.
It was just super cool. I mean, obviously, I got sent to me numbers of times from different people, but it was just funny. Obviously, they added their own mix into it. Yeah, they've got some good hips, and hopefully, it gets some game 4.
No. That's a big miss. That's a miss. That's not understanding the dynamics. Yeah, definitely pulling from. They're Texas. No. Although Jerry does consider himself as like the Cowboys own San Antonio, so you can't go offending Cowboys fans in San Antonio.
Got to think. You got to think of it. And also, I'll tell you, I used to do the Mavs postgame show. We would get a ton of Spurs calls, and they were local. I would bet of like not of all the population, but of NBA fans.
That sounds like something you allowed more than Wally Lynn would have, I think.
No, I don't know. But of NBA fans, I would say probably 20% are Spurs fans here. It's a lot.
Yeah, the Mavericks were awful, like in the '90s, and the Spurs were a competitive team.
They were on the
People liked watching them.
And also, but just go to a Ranger game when the Astros are here. I mean, they don't drive up from Houston; they're here.
Give your update, Bobby.
Savone Revel. I know you guys have all been waiting for this with bated breath. Savone Revel, by the way, and Sean Barham, according to Nick Harris, both worked with the first and second team units, kind of rotated a little bit. But Revel does have a competition that he's, I guess, engaged in, or that the cornerbacks are all engaged in terms of how the rotation is going to be stacked. But Revel is a boundary corner. He's an outside guy. He's not going to play the inside nickel corner very much. And so that leaves limited options if you're not somebody who can play inside and have that flexibility. And he's obviously coming off of what was a tough rookie year. He has ditched the brace. No more playing with the brace. He was healthy enough to play without it last year. He actually, what was interesting to me is that when you watched him, he kept fiddling with it, and it's like, man, he doesn't like this brace. I found out later he did not have to wear it. He was wearing it on his own, which tells you he probably was not comfortable mentally with where his knee was. Even though it's, hey, you're medically cleared and you don't have to wear that if you don't want to. And if it's bugging him that much and he still kept it on, that tells you he just didn't have a lot of confidence in it. But he says that this first offseason, this full offseason that he's had, he said it's been very beneficial. This is what he told Tommy Yarish, just because I can clean up a lot of things, a lot of errors I didn't see last year or I did see last year that I could clean up this year. He said we've got a new coaching staff. They're very detailed and very technical. When it comes to things, each day is intentional to get better. That's what I feel like I've been doing. Of course, there's some things I need to work on. My knee is 100% now, so it's time to focus on situational ball and the things I got to fix to get better at. Now, the only thing here that made me a little bit hesitant, that I was like, I don't know that that's totally the purpose of the defense, was Christian Parker is a big fan of his, apparently. Liked him when he was coming out of school, when he was at Philadelphia, and legitimately does have a plan to use him, from what I've heard. But he said that what he's learned under Christian Parker so far within this defense is play your game. Don't think too much. Don't overthink. At the end of the day, you're going to have errors. You're going to have time where you feel like you didn't do it right, but play fast, play 110%. The biggest thing he focuses on is the intent. Be violent, run to the ball. How much do you want it? I feel like if you really want it that bad, that's what I've gotten out of him. So that's true. Like, I know they don't want you focusing on errors too much. When something happens, acknowledge it, move on. And I know they want guys playing fast and giving effort. That's a big part of what Christian Parker's talked about. But I would not just say, yeah, just react. Don't think at all. That is not what that defense is. That defense is not just solely react to whatever and play on instinct. That is actually a way to get in trouble with this defense. So I think it's more, hey, play at a fast level of exertion and make sure that you're not focusing too much. Don't overthink the mistakes you've already made, but absolutely be on your P's and Q's when it comes to what you're seeing in front of you.
The update, the rest of the NFL did not want to hear from Adam Schefter.
Nobody is coming out right now and saying Aaron Donald is coming back. But everybody is acknowledging that it is a possibility. And the fact that it is even a possibility in June tells me that I think there's every possibility it will become more real in July. And I think if and when they present a plan to him as to how he would be used, I think it's more likely than not that he'll be back. Now, nobody said that. Nobody said that. Everybody thinks, we'll see. It's possible. We're talking about it. He has to commit to it. It still sounds like we're a ways away. He has not gotten there yet. The fact that this is even coming up, and the fact that the Rams have the team that they do, and the fact that Aaron Donald will get to play with Myles Garrett, and the fact that the Super Bowl's in L.A. this year, I just think the ingredients are there to make it happen. They're there to make it happen. And we'll see whether or not it actually does. But the fact that there's so much talk and the fact that people are thinking about it tells me that in the end, if I had to guess, I would guess it does happen. That's just a guess.
It'll be 3 years almost since he last played.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just?
This is interesting. You'd be the only one.
Are we just assuming he's going to go back and be first team All Pro?
Yep.
Why?
Because he's Aaron Donald.
So what?
Plenty of guys have stepped off the field. He has stayed in shape. He was incredibly young. Gronk came back out there and was Gronk.
After 2-3 years out?
Gronk, yeah.
Was he out that?
Gronk was away for, I think, 2 years.
I like this take, Choppy.
I just don't know. And I don't even know, was Gronk the same as he was?
I'm not agreeing with it, but I like it because I don't want the Rams to be invincible.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm not saying he'll be a bum.
Yeah.
But we're just assuming that he's going to be prime Aaron Donald.
No.
That's a wild assumption.
I don't even think anybody's assuming he's going to be prime Aaron Donald. They assume he's going to be
first team All Pro. Seems prime Aaron Donald.
Well,
to
because
me.
prime Aaron Donald was
but first team All Pro is. Let's just say, can he be first team All Pro?
He could be, yeah. I think he could be. He'll be
All right.
what he will be. He has All Pro capability right now. But the thing was, is when he was playing, he was not
you
just
think.
No, I'm saying, I think
We don't know.
3 years ago, he was a first team All Pro for Aaron Donald. That's
You're trying to say his regression is still first team All Pro.
Yeah, that's the highest you could go, but he was way above anybody else.